With the help of a grant from the Carnegie Corporation, BustedHalo.com began covering the issue of immigration in a unique way. Instead of contributing to the glut of coverage about immigration, Busted Halo is featuring stories by immigrants themselves about the issue. We distributed flip video cameras to undocumented individuals and agencies across the country and asked them to start video blogging for a period of at least 3 months. Busted Borders is an attempt to use the web's unfiltered nature to move the immigration debate away from abstractions and statistics. Regardless of where you stand on the issue, we hope to give a personal glimpse into the humanity of these strangers in our midst. For reasons of safety, some of the participants have opted to keep their last names and locations secret.
I'm here in New York, specifically in Riverdale, New York, otherwise known as the Bronx. When I think about New York, this is what I miss, the lights that stand like the stars on the buildings. Sound of the train coming in. This is the first time that I've stayed for a large chunk of time, almost 2 weeks here in Minnesota. It's been quite a learning experience. You know, there is that whole element of the Minnesota nice piece, but there's another element underneath the Minnesota nice. So it's confusion, conflict, dose of religion. You see bikes and bikers everywhere in Minneapolis. But the immigrants, particularly the undocumented immigrants, a little bit more invisible. So what would be something that you would want people to know in the United States? People who are U.S. citizens, people who don't have any connection really to the whole immigration issue. You know, it's not something that affects their lives personally or emotionally. You know, what would you want to say to them?
Let's say we talk about inequality, and inequality is not perpetuated by the Nazis or the KKK members in the U.S. You know, inequality is perpetuated by, you know, the average person in the U.S. And to some extent, it's perpetuated by myself because of, you know, certain things that I do or don't do. You know, like when someone makes a racial joke and I don't call it off, you know, in that way I'm participating in perpetuating racism.
Because if there literally aren't immigrants on the streets, then I'm wondering, where are the undocumented immigrants? This is California. I've started to hear a lot more Spanish, but it's from the people who are cleaning the hotel rooms and are cleaning the rest of the hotel. Strange, and yet not strange at the same time.
You know, even if people don't necessarily know someone who is undocumented, I think that people need to be aware of where do things come from. Food, you know, north of the U.S., you know, where it becomes really cold and cultivating food is not possible. Food comes from other states, especially in South California. You know, who is more likely to be picking up that food? And, you know, here in Minnesota, we're eating that food. But in some way, you know, people are benefiting, you know, from the undocumented immigration in the U.S., but also perpetuating that need for people to live in the shadows. And it's not until people who, you know, have the privilege of holding U.S. citizenship take action in changing the laws that keep some of us in the shadows, but yet benefit, you know, the majority in the U.S.
So I'm here at the Riverside downtown Metrolink station. There is some confusion about the schedule. Now I'm thinking about the fact that my little silver carry-on suitcase travels with more freedom and more ease throughout the United States than my husband Roberto and many other immigrants that I know. Can you talk about why you say undocumented as opposed to illegal?
It's just another label. It's just making us into, you know, duality, like, you know, it's yes or no, and it's documented or undocumented. I find problem when people use illegal because it robs me of my humanity. We often think of illegals as, you know, something that we don't call human. The word itself is just very discriminatory to some extent and inhumane to another.
I'm here in this beautiful hotel in Riverside, California. The weather's great, the view is gorgeous, and I really miss my husband. I'm here touring with my show, The Deportee's Wife,
And now, more than ever, I'm really clear that the deportee is not here. It's not fun to be in a hotel like this by myself without my sweetie. And I really miss him.